Welcome to Road to Reality, the radio ministry of Gospel for Asia. Today, Brother K.P. Yohannan asks, is it possible to live in the abundant life Jesus promises? And how can I overcome sin that continually hinders my walk with the Lord? Well, listen in as Brother K.P. shares his secrets to living the victorious life in this compelling message entitled Christ's Call.
When I first came to America, nobody knew what I said. I didn't know what they said. In Dallas. In the end, I figured out I spoke English, they spoke Texan. But here, the amazing thing is that the opportunity you have as a fellowship. And I have no illusion. I know you people, some of you drive from the end of the world to get to this church. And the reason you do that is because the Word of God is taught here. When you realize in America, we have one ordained minister for every 200 people. In northern Bihar, 22 million people without one missionary, one Christian. That many people that never heard the name Jesus. In Afghanistan, 17 million people, the entire nation, not one church in the entire nation of Afghanistan. Turkey, with some 44 million people, maybe less than 200 Christians in the entire country. India, where I come from, we have 1 billion people population. What is the population of America you have? 250 million, that's right. We just imagine how many times big the nation of India is. And half of India, about 500 million people, still waits to hear the message of salvation for the first time. And by the way, unless you listen to me today and think deep, this is going to be, if you're looking for some emotional high and some fantastic experience, forget it. It's not going to come. You got enough teaching. But I'm here to tell you that the call of Christ is not just to be informed, but do something about it. And I've been 1 year, I traveled 200,000 air miles speaking to God's people in America. At the end of my trip, I decided I will never again travel and speak. Because I saw that Christianity is so filled with shallowness and plastic and lukewarm. It was just feed me, help me, take care of my religion. And information has become spirituality for more people. Just think about the number of Christian books you have. Think about the number of tapes you purchase. By the time I finish speaking, they will have cooked out 200 audio tapes that you will be getting. You pay for it, I don't know what you do with it. But the amount of, just look at your church. Just one little church here. It's not little, but it's big enough. But the bookstore, the tape, the program, the ladies' meeting, men's meeting, kids' meeting, all kind of. You are bombarded with information. You get enough spiritual information in 1 week that over in China and India, people don't get in 5 years. When I was in mainland China some time ago, the Chinese brothers showed me photographs of baptism service taking place in the middle of the night in the icy waters, because if they're caught publicly, they'll go to prison and be killed. And something more shocking they told me was that, Brother KP, we have thousands of churches all over mainland China, and those congregations are lucky if they have 2 Bibles to the name of the entire congregation. I said, repeat that please. They would say the same thing. I said, what do you guys do? Oh, they said, we get a Bible and we are so glad. We tear the pages, 10 pages to one family, 20 pages next family, 20 pages next family. They take it home, they copy it, they bring back, then they swap it. Keep on circulating. And they hear the shortwave radio, Bible read through transfer radio broadcast. They copy the Bible. You realize 1.3 billion people in the entire nation, there's not one Christian bookstore. In Dallas, where we are, there are over 12 full-time Christian radio stations every day bombarding the gospel of all kinds. And here you got 7 or 8 of them, one you got plugged in your church here. But I'm telling you, do you realize that if you came to the church for 6 months, you are qualified to be a theologian, a Bible school teacher, overseas average Christian here. You know so much. How blessed we are. But let's not fool ourselves, because you got people coming here, large numbers, you got nice building. Let's not fool ourselves. That don't mean we are impacting the world. Nearly 3 billion people live on planet Earth that never heard the name Jesus. Yesterday I went through a catalog of your pastor's teaching, and I was so glad to see in the entire catalog there are 2-3 messages he spoke about hell. That is a change. Average American congregation never hear a message on hell because we don't believe in it anymore. I tell you what, many years ago I went through a crisis in my life. The crisis was this: I wish I could believe there is no hell. He said, Brother KP, that sounds strange. Why is that? Because I was so getting desperate. If hell is real, I must do something more than what I was doing with my life. And I want to believe there is some other way to heaven than through Jesus. After all, hell is not real. But I tell you what, I went through the Bible, just like you read, and came to the conclusion, hell is real. There is a place, and hell is not for a vacation for 2 years, 10 years, like you put prisoners for murdering for 10 years, 20 years. No, sir. Hell is forever. And after 10 billion trillion years, those in hell will scream, saying, I want to die, I want to die. That's all. Not even for a drop of water. They just want to die. And the answer comes again and again and again. You shall never die, you will never die. That is the fate of multiplied billions on planet Earth. And you and I say, Jesus, I love you. And I tell you what, if we can believe what we say we believe with our lips, it will revolutionize our life. It will turn our lives upside down. When I was in Sri Lanka, just a while ago, in Colombo, a man told me, Brother KP, I tell you a story that you may want to remember. I said, I want to hear stories. How many of you heard about the tens of thousands die in Sri Lanka over the Tamil Elam, or the fight between Sinhalese and Tamil, two people groups, like you had in America a long time ago, the Civil War, North and South, that is going on, and blood is flowing on the streets. The Tamils, these particular ethnic people, they want freedom for their own, and they train guerrillas, freedom fighters. You know how they do that? They recruit people to strap bombs on them, human bombs, and they go and kill themselves while trying to get more rights for their cause. There's a lady sitting at that time in Colombo government prison, a 28-year-old young girl, a young woman. She was a medical doctor, trained in England, practicing as a doctor. Her parents were killed by the opposition party, the Sinhalese. She gave up her profession, her job, everything. She went to the jungles and learned to shoot and kill, and she carries around her neck, on the necklace, cyanide capsule. Thousands of these Tamil tigers, they call, killed themselves, suicide. That is a part of their life when they are caught by the soldiers. Before she could take the cyanide, she was captured and she was in prison. That is the time when I was there. And somebody went to visit her and talk to her. You know, knowing that she is going to be killed the next day, this is what that young doctor said. I am so glad that I am in prison. Even through my death, if our party, our cause can be furthered even one step, I am grateful for that. If that is the commitment for something that is so hopeless, what kind of commitment I have? When I went through this crisis of faith in my life, that is not a joke. And finally I said to myself, this is serious. And then with that, something else happened. I realized I ain't going to be here for a very long time. That's American talk. Now, so that you will not think this guy is telling stories, he didn't teach or preach, let's look at a Bible verse. Book of Psalms 103, verse 15. And as I read this thing, I want you to look at it closely and seriously. Psalm 103, verse 15. As for man, his days are like grass. He flourisheth like a flower of the field. And the wind blows over it, and it is gone. And its place remembers it no more. That means your life. He's not talking about some other, guys living in England or Germany or India or Dallas, Texas. I'm talking about you. Your life is like grass that you see out there. It comes up in the morning, your life, and flourishes like a flower. You look wonderfully, put all your nice makeup on you and go to the special place, get your hair cut, cost you $25, $30 or $30,000. And you make your nose big or small. I mean, you are 100 years old, but you look 20. The so-called American midlife crisis, I don't know what that is. Get a newer car and new fashions, all these things, a new house and everything. I mean, you are never satisfied with stuff to make you look nice and acceptable and all the stuff. And I mean, it's all look nice. But you know what? The wind and says it is gone. Well, okay, it is gone. But the sad thing is this, man, and its place remembers it no more. The house you lived in, the car you drive, all the clothes you purchase, all the diamond ring, all the fancy stuff, and I mean the antiques you collect, and the house, the business, and the bank account, and none of that stuff will remember you. You are gone. And life goes on, and the trees still live on, the building still be there, but you are not here. But how we need to realize we are headed toward eternity, and that is not 1,000 miles away from now, it is next minute. And Jesus lived like that. You want proof? In the New Testament, 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21. I can read it for you, don't have to turn to that. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21. To this you were called, because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his footsteps. He left this example. He suffered for you, leaving you an example that we should follow in his footsteps.
Thank you for listening to Road to Reality, the radio ministry of Gospel for Asia. Today's broadcast, entitled Christ's Call, is a message by K.P. Yohannan, founder and president of Gospel for Asia. In a moment, we'll rejoin Brother K.P. We'd like to send you a free copy of Brother K.P.'s most popular book, Revolution in World Missions. Simply visit our website at gospelforasia.org or call us 1-866-WIN-ASIA. We'd love to send you a copy. And now, back to Brother K.P.
How we need to realize we are headed toward eternity, and that is not 1,000 miles away from now, it is next minute. And Jesus lived like that. You want proof? In the New Testament, 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21. I can read it for you, don't have to turn to that. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21. To this you were called, because Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example that you should follow in his footsteps. He left this example. He suffered for you, leaving you an example that we should follow in his footsteps. This I will share with you very candidly. The reason why we in America, with all the teaching, all the music, all the stuff going on, our lives are shallow, still struggling with sin, and struggle in our private thought life with things that not pleasing God, and the struggle of raising a children in a godly way, and the lack of victory in your life, lack of authority of God in your life, seeking to please men rather than God. Ever so busy, we can't be quiet. In the car, in the shower, in the room, everywhere we go, we have to be kept busy because we are a restless people. Why is it? Why is it? It is simply because we do not want to accept the cross of Christ into our life. Cross means self-denial, giving up our own wishes and dreams for the sake of the cross, for the sake of Calvary. And that's what we are missing here. That's the reason with all the stuff we miss so much of reality. But how do you plug into reality? These all what I'm telling you can be just words. But let me tell you, my wife just came back from North India, and I was there visiting the mission field, and she met with one of our leaders who coordinate the work in northwest of India. And she was telling about the Faridabad slum. The largest slum of the world is in Bombay. 5 million people live there. Slum, how can you explain it? There's no dirty place in America that can be compared with the slum. The water from the sewage flow through this muddied wetland. Millions of people live there. Their house is made of little plastic pieces that stuck up on these sticks they collect from the street. They sleep on the damp mud floor. That's their home. And the kids are playing in the sewage. And they die there. 100,000 children on the streets of Bombay alone, not knowing who their parents are. And don't alienate that from you. I never forget, when I was coming back from Bombay, looking at the newspaper, on the front page, a black and white picture of a boy, about 4 or 5 years old boy, laying on the sidewalk, beside him a female dog, and you look close, the boy is drinking from this dog its milk. And the caption reads like this: "This dog is his mother." And he explained about the 100,000 children on the Bombay street not knowing who the parents are. I tell you what, I speak your language. I learned English. I'm not a snake or rat or an elephant or a donkey or a monkey. No, sir, I'm a human being. You are more educated lawyers and doctors from India and China and America than you can imagine. But these kids, these people on the Bombay streets or Calcutta or Hyderabad are not animals. They are human beings just like you. It is by the grace of God you are born in this country. That I was born in a Christian home. You didn't ask to be born here. To those much is given, much shall be required. I'm telling you, you are not satisfied with all the beautiful full stereo music coming through the radio from 10 stations here. You have to buy that new CD just for yourself. You are not satisfied with the library books. You must get books for yourself because of the private individualistic society. You are never satisfied with all the teachings, but not realizing half of the world never heard the name Jesus. They have never seen one page of the Bible. When will we learn? What does it take for us to learn? Call a Christ for us is, as the Father hath sent me, so send I you. You are my hand, you are my leg, you are my eyes, you are my ears, you are my tears, you are mine. Go into the world and touch the poor, the needy, the lepers, the dying and the hurting, and the ones going to hell, and grab them and rescue them. That is the call of Christ. If pastor skips high-side teaching and this church is only making you a better Christian, a better family man, a better father, a better mother, I'm sorry for you. That is from the beginning. The call of Christ is to die, not to live. I can assure you that. This one missionary who was employed by the government of India, making big money, a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children, living in Delhi, in the capital city. He heard the call of God for the slum people. He took his wife and kids, went to the slum. Our leader said to my wife, "Andy, if you just walk on the edge of the slum, you have to close your nose. You cannot breathe. It is so dirty, so stinking. Pollution, open sores and bodies." Yet, in that one small slum, over 5,000 families live. And the missionary took his wife and kids and decided he will live among those slum people in that little hut, sleeping there, eating their food, and if need be, dying there for the sake of him who left all and gave his life to reach the lost and this world, including you and me and our children, our family. It was not easy. It was deliberate embracing of the cross, not forced upon him. Within a few months' time, he was able to baptize quite a lot of people, and the church was born right in the middle of that slum. People coming half naked, children with a bloated stomach, hungry and dying, but now come and sit on the dirt floor, clapping hands and worshiping Jesus. You know what? They are looking not for a better, healthy future here. They are looking for something far beyond and glorious beyond all this. And that is the call of Christ that He put upon our life. But you know what? This is of a truth. My wife can tell you this, and Brother Skip can tell you this too. Having traveled quite a bit, lived in America quite a bit, it's not my choice to come to America. No, sir. I come here because I want to obey my Lord. The 2-3 weeks I spend here to travel like to speak, then I jump back to China or India, some other place, then come back again to do the speaking. So this is one of those little holes I have to be here to speak to you. The reason I come here is this. Soon, very soon, listen to me, time shall no more be. You ain't going to be here, but you will face the Lord of glory face to face. A man called me from Houston, Texas some time ago and said, Brother KP, I read your book. And he started weeping. I thought I told him something terribly bad. Then he would catch himself, he'll keep talking. He said, Brother KP, I'm over 60 years old. And I'm just so broken-hearted. He said, I'm a believer. I know Jesus. But soon my life will be over here. And I stand before the throne. And I realize, if only I could invest my life today. Millions of people from China, India, Bhutan, Burma, Mongolia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all these places, from every tribe, every kindred, from every nation, people that never heard the name Jesus will be there. And I just thought about that. And I'm so grieved that I wasted so much of my life. Finally, he said, KP, sorry for weeping like this, sorry for being so emotional, but I'm just calling to ask you, is there anything I can do? Anything I can do to become real and touch the lost world? I said, the first thing is, you must, by the grace of God, make a decision that, Lord, I want approval from you and no one else. So much of Christian work originates in the flesh and carnality. Lord, I only want your approval. I said, make the commitment to the Lord. Walk with Him with the purity of heart and integrity and holiness and honesty. Even if you do nothing in the world, that is more important. Secondly, I said, if God is speaking to you, take your resources. If you cannot go to India or China, the best thing you can do, live a simple life and give your resources to reach the lost world. And he asked me more questions. Within a couple of weeks' time, he sent a check to our office for $235,000. That money was to go to buy the Life of Jesus film in 8 different languages for illiterate, the tribal, the poor, the suffering people in slums and the unreached areas. Our missionaries took this and began to go and preach the gospel. A year went by. I told my people on the mission field, would you please do a study, because we have very serious accountability system kept up as to see what is happening on the mission field. I said, I want to know what is happening with that projector, with that film, and what God is doing with that project. They wrote a report back, and I was shocked. The report said every month, no less than 100,000 people come to the Lord Jesus Christ by watching the Life of Jesus. And I said to myself, man, this guy, what a privilege the Lord gave him in this side of life.
You're listening to Brother K.P. Yohannan from Gospel for Asia in a message entitled Christ's Call. Well, if you've been challenged by Brother K.P.'s commitment to authentic Christianity, please visit our website at gospelforasia.org. We'd love to send you a free copy of Brother K.P.'s most popular book, Revolution in World Missions. This is the story of Brother K.P. as a young evangelist in India and his calling to launch a worldwide organization, Gospel for Asia. Now, in it you'll find stories of God's amazing work in the lives of people here in the West and on the Indian subcontinent. Thousands have written to us over the years with the same testimony. This book can change your life. Now, for your free copy, simply go to our website, gospelforasia.org, or call us 866-WIN-ASIA and request Brother KP's book, Revolution in World Missions. And please listen in next week at the same time to hear Brother KP conclude with more stories from the mission field and practical ways that you can follow Christ's call. Thanks for listening to Road to Reality, the radio ministry of Gospel for Asia.